this is the year of the Bills.
Yeah.
And you know what it's going to sound like? That's the herd coming. They ain't talking about no Colorado Buffaloes. Prime.
Shout out to Chris
Yeah, I know you coming, Prime, but I'm talking about them Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
Behind the mask.
What's happening, my boy?
What's good, family? Happy New Year. Another day in paradise. Another year in paradise, you know what I mean?
2023, man. Let's give a round of applause, bro.
There it is.
We made it. We made it.
Yeah.
And you know what else that means?
What's that?
The last week of the regular season for the NFL. And you know what else that means? Everybody has their expectations on who is going to do what.
Going into the playoffs here, playoff push,
Yep.
Super Bowl expectations.
You know, and with you having a nice resume of actually playing in the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
I figured I just wanted to sit you down on this couch because, you know, a lot of people, they have their picks and I have mine. I want to get yours.
Yeah, yeah. And like you said, look, I was blessed enough to make the playoffs a few times. Blessed enough to be on the Super Bowl team with the Carolina Panthers. I like to always give my man a little jab right there.
Yeah.
We all weren't able to make the playoffs and stuff. But nonetheless, great career. I tip my hat if I had one. But for the whole playoff push, the Super Bowl run, one of the things I know you do want is you want to go into the playoffs healthy and you want to go into the playoffs consistent, like on a consistent streak, right?
Facts.
You may take an L here or there down the stretch, but you want to make sure consistently you're playing good football down the stretch. And I think those are some of the things that can carry you into the playoffs. Once you get on a run, you win 3 or 4 games, depending on if you get a bye. You have the big one. You know what I mean? And some of the things that help teams win, obviously you got to have a strong defense.
Got to.
Great running game will help you get through because defenses actually shorten the field in the playoffs, right? Quarterbacks typically don't air the ball out and throw for 300, 400-yard games. It rarely happens in the playoffs, even with the way the league is right now. So back when we played, that was it. We had players like on defense, Chris Jenkins, All-Pro.
On the Super Bowl Carolina team. And that was back in 2005. Julius Peppers on defense. Offense, Jake Delhomme was our quarterback. He wasn't he had a Pro Bowl year that year. He wasn't the top quarterback in the league, but what he didn't do was commit those turnovers down the stretch, right? And it didn't hurt. We had Steve Smith, one of the best receivers at the time, Moose Muhammad on the other side, Deshaun Foster running the ball, your Auburn guys, Steven Davis. Yeah. So we had a solid team with a great running game. Passing game was lights out doing their thing, and then of course defense just shut people down. So those were some of the things that helped us win. And when I look at these teams gearing up for the playoffs now, I do have a couple of picks, man. And as we do every year, we do make our picks, we make our bets, and I typically win. That's what I do because I'm a winner. Not saying that you're a loser, but sometimes you come in second place. That's all I'm saying. Well, let's start with the NFC then, Mr. Assume first place. Let's run it.
For sure, man.
And I need facts.
Oh, yeah, I got facts. I came prepared, man. I always come prepared. So for
Who
me,
you like in the NFC?
Shout out to Coach P. That's my guy, the Godfather. Joe Panuzzi up there in Philadelphia. And I hate the fact that I'm doing this because I'm Giants through and through, but
what? We can't tell.
I gotta go.
Man, this dude tripping.
I gotta go with the Eagles, man. And just the objective point of view of how the Eagles have been playing throughout the duration of the season, man. When you see them, they are clearly the most dominant team in the NFC. Top to bottom, they're able to win games on both sides of the ball. When I look at this team, I see a Jalen Hurts who's coming to his own, right? Top 3 offense in the NFL. Hurts is having a breakout season with the addition of A.J. Brown, who's also having an all-pro season. Can't be denied. We're talking about facts only. You know what I mean? You add Devontae Smith, who's been doing this thing. Miles Sanders had over 1,000 yards rushing. When I see this team on offense, I'm like, you know what? They are putting it all together, and Jalen Hurts is not committing those turnovers.
See, that's the key. What nobody really. When you get into playoff football, you're not. The winners are usually the teams that don't turn the football over and they run the football effectively.
Facts.
You cannot harm yourself. So I give you sight.
A little bit.
I give you a little bit.
You the real football aficionado. I ain't gonna lie, but facts only, bro. So when you look at that, you look at what Miles Sanders is able to do. Jalen Hurts also can run the ball very effectively, keep teams honest. It's real difficult to pin this team down. And I look at top 10 in passing yards. Again, kept the interceptions down. And I see the Eagles, what they were able to do throughout the course of the season. They win games in different fashions, right? They had the shootout against the Green Bay Packers. They were able to win 40-33 against an Aaron Rodgers-led team. And then you play against the Indianapolis Colts down the stretch. Defense came through, all field goals, just an ugly game. They won 17-16. So when I look at that totality on offense, I'm like, this is the type of team that I like. And I like the consistency. I like the momentum. And Spikes, you know this. You hate offense because defense wins championships.
I want to talk about y'all defense, though.
Defense wins championships.
They still giving up the runs, or what?
Listen, they still giving up. They were giving up the runs throughout the course of the season. I get it. Not the best stopping the run, but guess what they did? Guess what they did?
What did they do?
They got Big Ndamukong Suh and Linval Joseph off the street.
They did.
2 veterans.
They did.
And what do you do when you have veterans that come in midway through the season? You save their legs. We call them fresh legs, right?
Yeah.
They're able to go out there and give their all. Like, if we were to go back out on the football field right now, we probably could give them 1 or 2 snaps, probably. But this is after, 12 years of not playing, 7-something years, 10 years for you. But these guys are fresh. Literally, we're playing last season. So now, straight off the street, they're ready to go. And then when I look at the big fella, Jordan Davis, he's back. You know what that means, Spikes?
Man, that's 3. They got 3 big tackles.
3 big fellas in there. You know what that means?
What?
That's 965 pounds of Philadelphia grade A beef. Cheesesteaks. Hamburgers. All that good stuff.
Grade A beef. Them steaks.
And guess what?
What?
You ain't going to be able to run against them. It's going to be harder than freezing meat to run against the damn Philadelphia Eagles in the playoffs. It's not happening.
Meat.
And if a team does try to run against them and they, decide, we want to air the ball out, top passing defense in the NFL throughout the duration of the season. I look at a total team. Special teams is doing their thing. Spikes, NFC, I don't know who you have that can possibly beat these Eagles if they stay healthy throughout the playoffs, bro.
I like your points. But let me pick up my reel and throw it out and reel your ass back in. Let me reel them cheesesteaks back in. And after I pull it out the water, this is what it reads. It reads, this team, they are a gritty team. They are a defined, mean machine led by the initials of FW and also led by the initials of NB. Nick Bosa and Fred Warner. Yeah, I'm talking about them 49ers, baby.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? And offense is everything. You're right, because you got to be able to score points. But when you look at this 49er football team, bro, you made the mention defensively. Yeah, y'all are balling. Mm-hmm. Philly is balling, no doubt. But you know who's the number 1 defense? Or who's going to finish as the number 1 defense in the league? Hello? The 49ers. Bro, they only giving up mid-15 points a game. Bro, I've been a part of some great defenses to where we gave up 17 points a game, 16 points a game. They went through a streak to where they were only giving up 11 points per game. And so when you listen and you read the verbiage and you pay attention and you just see what drives them, their consistent answer is this. We want to fight for that number 1 seed. Who is holding the number 1 seed? Philly holds the number 1 seed.
That's right.
So they understand the importance. And I don't anticipate them laying off a lot of guys this last game. Maybe. Some guys, it depends on if they need it or not.
Got to stay healthy.
Got to stay healthy. But the key is the mentality that they have. This is the 4th year to where they've really been in it. And defensively, they played well. Nick Bosa, a couple of years ago, he ended up tearing his ACL, but he's back with the vengeance overall. Now, going to the offensive side, I was worried because I'm like, all right.
Should be.
Debo came back, signed an extension. Things going well. Then Trey Lance he gets injured. And then it's like, wow, Jimmy G is back in.
Mm-hmm.
Now Jimmy G is rolling.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what happens after that?
What's that?
Jimmy G gets hurt. Boop. Before Jimmy G gets hurt, what do? They traded for Christian McCaffrey, bro.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, this is a lot of weapons. So how is it possible to use or utilize everybody in a manner to where you keep everybody happy, but you are able to get the productivity from everybody and still do it within the team concept? Then Jimmy G gets hurt. And I'm like, oh, damn. Yeah. I'm looking like, I know they drafted somebody, the last pick of the draft.
Mr. Irrelevant.
Brock Purdy. Man, who would have ever thought Brock Purdy?
You got to give him some love, though, you know what I'm saying, for what he's been able to do. That, like, straight up, no shade, love to be the last pick in the draft and still come out and have success and your team not miss a beat offensively. Definitely, I give you that.
Bruh, 1,000%.
Yeah.
And that was just part of the build-up. Because, like, he went from Mr. Irrelevant to now Mr. Relevant. Like, like, Brock Purdy is the shit now.
Yeah.
And then more and more I continue to look at these guys, I think he has what it takes. You hear guys on the team say, hey, Fred Warner said, you know what? It doesn't surprise us. We saw what he was doing. He went against the number one defense the entire year. All right, okay, Fred, I get it. Like, I've been in that position too. But he's telling the truth. Yeah. Bro, even going back to the Seattle game, I remember this drive. Who has the loudest stadium? Seattle.
Yes, yeah.
They were on the 1 yard line. And I'm thinking Shanahan is like, all right, he'll call the quarterback sneak just to give Purdy some room. Yeah. When you in the back of the end zone and you're at your own one, the crowd is the loudest that you'll ever hear. It's almost equivalent to two, like, I don't know if you're F-19, 16, whatever, them fighter jets coming through. It's equivalent to hearing that. Guess what Shanahan did? He said, you know what? I'm not finna do no quarterback sneak. Brock Purdy, I'm calling the pass play. I need you to complete it. 1 yard line, drop back. Guess what he do? Threw a pass. Guess what happened?
What?
Got knocked down, incomplete. And I was like, okay, Shanahan, chill. Then he comes back on 3rd down. And I'm like, man, you can't put this boy in this position, Kyle. What's wrong with you? Don't do it. He did it again. Hit Jawan Jennings for the 1st down. And it was history after that drive. So my point is I'm saying is this. It's nothing to take anything away from Brock Purdy because I do believe he is a baller. I do believe that. But for him to have the gonads that he have alongside Kyle Shanahan to understand and manage the expectations and his savviness, I really like this 49er team. Similar to other years, too. And we don't have to put all of this on Brock Purdy. Like, that's a lot of weight. Like, even though he is Mr. Relevant now. I will say this. I talked about the weapons that they have. Going back to this Seattle game, out of the first 11 plays, guess who touched the ball 9 times? Christian McCaffrey. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So 6 times was a run, 3 was a pass, if I'm not mistaken. So I say all of that to say, man, this dude here is a baller. Now he's leading the team in rushing. And when you look at it, you look at the scheme that Kyle Shanahan has developed. This is probably the most impressive thing that a lot of people don't know. Ever since Kyle Shanahan has been there, they've had a leading rusher, a different leading rusher every year since he's been there. So I'm not saying that it's like, hey, Kyle, you can go get this guy off the street. Like, no. But this guy has a knack for seeing talent, and the system obviously marries that talent, and they get the productivity that they want. So I like the 49ers, and Debo will be back.
Yeah.
I know he'll be back. So That's what it is. That's what I'm banking on, and that's we hoping so they can get that first round bye. Yeah. Eagles slip up if you want to. They probably won't, but you know what I mean.
Either way, I think is dope. Between you and I, every year when the playoffs come, we've been on. We've played in the league so many years that chances are we're gonna have a team to root for in the playoffs. And I'm going for Philly, one of your former teams, and you're going for the Niners, one of your former teams. So either way, you really can't lose. You know what I'm saying? You really can't lose.
Don't get mad at me. That's the advantage. I took advantage of free agency.
No doubt, man. So then we go to the AFC, bro. And there's some teams at the top, your usual suspects that's always there. Your Bengals doing their thing. Bills, team we both play for, doing our thing. Chiefs up there. And when I look at the Bills, I see a team that each year incrementally gets a little bit better. Now, they may not, make it to the big dance or whatever, but each year they get a little bit better in the offseason, in their drafts, bringing more talent on that team. And Brandon Beane does a tremendous job. And I see them, and I'm like, dang, they can do it. And I want to go with the Bills so bad. But the last 3 years of us betting,
yep,
you picked them, and they lost. So I can't go with them. Can't go with them. You know what I'm saying? So there's no way that I can really sit there and say, man, I'm going to rock with the Bills. So, of course, for me, I got to go with the team that helped me win 2 of my bets, the Kansas City Chiefs.
Look at this guy.
I got to go with them, bro. I mean, why would I?
You were jumping off the bandwagon when Tyreek Hill was left the team.
That's okay. But what I'm saying is, why would I go against what has worked? Not necessarily winning all of these Super Bowls, but they have been to the AFC Championship last 3 years. So why would I go against that? When you look at this Kansas City Chiefs team, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, you have Pat Mahomes there, Travis Kelce. You talked about Tyreek Hill leaving. They ain't missed a beat. Who's the top quarterback passing in the NFL? You ain't even got to say it. Patrick Mahomes. Which offense has been at the top throughout the entire season?
Buffalo Bills.
At the top. I ain't say was the number one team. But the Chiefs have been up there consistently. Yes, they don't run the ball the best, but you don't need to run the ball the best. You know why? Because you're passing the ball the best, and you got Patrick Mahomes. As soon as these defenses look like they got him, what does he do? Pulls out a trick play from back when he was in the schoolyard or whatever, or back in the street, you know what I'm saying, back in the days. You know what I'm saying? It makes these tremendous plays,
and as a defensive player, I will say this.
I hate it. It's demoralizing, yo. You know
this dude was almost out of bounds, and he was just like, I'm going to just go and take it on out there.
Shout out to Jet McKinnon. You know what I'm saying? Couldn't catch
Jet
it.
been playing his ass off.
Bro. Jet been balling. You don't need to do that. When you have the top team and you're averaging almost 30 points a game, and again, you have your Mahomes and Travis Kelce's, these guys can't be stopped. We know that. So the best thing you can do is try to neutralize them. And then I look on the defensive side, they've been top 5 at stopping the run the entire season. I don't see anything going any difference and anything going any different in the playoffs. And again, we say you got to be able to stop the run in the postseason, right? So whatever team you decide to pick out of the AFC, they're going to have to run the ball to be able to stop the Chiefs, and they're going to have to play great defense and still outscore them. I don't see that happening. Again, the Chiefs don't run it the best, but they don't have to. They outscore other opponents. The way I look at it, the Chiefs are going to be in the AFC Championship again, playing for their 4th chance at going to the Super Bowl, bro. I just don't see nobody else. And guess what? We still ain't forget, because some people text me, you ain't live up to that bet from last year when I won neither. It is partially my fault. It is largely my fault. I'm going to take that away from you. So chill, because you're about to go off. I see you about to go off. Just bring it down a couple notches. But the fact remains, I still won the bet from last year. That's what I'm saying.
Hey, man. What year is this right now? 2023.
Yeah.
2023. So with that being said,
don't throw me under the bus.
I think you're yelling out fake news over there, sir. Let me give you the real news right now. Out of the past 4 years, this team has went to the playoffs and went deep in the playoffs. 4 straight years led up under the leadership of Sean Big Dog McDermott. Okay? And look, I'm talking about the Buffalo Bills. Mm-hmm. And I think the real reason why they haven't been able to advance is because of two things. The lack of a running game, consistency in previous years, and not having home field advantage. But guess what, Mr. Reyes? They're going to have both this year. I believe it. And we'll see. But I truly believe they're going to have home field. And just from having home field advantage, and I love watching Kansas City. Yeah. They remind me of that basketball team, like not necessarily the NBA today, but like the Golden State Warriors. I will say that. I don't care if you have Golden State down by 20 points, 30 points. You just know they're going to make a run. Yeah. They're going to make a run. That's the Kansas City Chiefs. Mm-hmm. But that won't be them. Why? Because when you unseat them out of that number 1 seed, and then they got to bring their ass all the way to Buffalo, New York. Yes, sir. Guess what's going to happen then? Josh and the boys will come calling. That Buffalo herd. You might see me leading them out the tunnel that day.
True. Bills Mafia.
Bills Mafia, baby. Shout out to Bills Mafia. I ain't playing no snaps. I will pick up the microphone, though. But, nah, man, it's the, you know, you talk about the Chiefs and how explosive that they are. Yeah. The Chiefs are very explosive. And once you unseed them, I think it takes away a little bit of what they do.
A little bit of mystique.
Yeah, you know, not only the mystique, but just them being explosive. Very admirable. You know what I mean? Yeah.
They do their thing.
So they do their thing, but I have to give them credit. They are very hard to stop on the offensive side. Yeah. Number 1 offensive team in the National Football League. Right. So in that manner, if you take them out of Arrowhead and you bring them over to Ralph Wilson Stadium, now you're playing against the number 2 offensive team in the National Football League. And guess what? They have a running game now, Mr. Reyes. Let me remind you. And they're doing it. Motor, shout out to Motor, man. Yeah. Blessed us with his presence a couple of years ago on the BTM podcast. Mm-hmm. But they're doing it different now. They're doing it different with Josh. And now you're starting to see teams really just say, you know what? We really don't care how much we paying these quarterbacks. Yeah. If we got to have it, we got to have it. Yeah. And they put the ball in their hands. I remember 2-3 weeks ago, Buffalo was playing Miami. Big snowstorm. Mm-hmm. And the thing that was most impressive, he left that game posting his best passing performance in 2 months. And he also ran the ball against the Miami defense as if they were in the postseason. Like, this dude played with reckless abandon, bro. And the thing that I've really appreciated about it, because their offense really was in a funk, meaning outside of Diggs, nobody else was there. Mm-hmm. Gabriel Davis, Isaiah McKenzie, you know, just erratic play.
Yeah, not consistent.
Not consistent. So for me to be able to see that and him take his team all the way down, last drive of the game, orchestrated the winning field goal to beat Miami. Hey, man, these boys for real, dog.
That's just feel.
They are for real. So, you know, when you got a quarterback who can not only throw for 300 yards. Hold on, was it snowing that game? Yes, it was. It was snowing. Threw for 300, 4 touchdowns, and ran the ball 9 times for 80 yards, too. So, like, man, like sometimes you just have to just say, you know what? This is the year of the Bills. Yeah. And you know what it's going to sound like? That's the herd coming. They ain't talking about no Colorado Buffaloes. Prime.
Shout out to
Coach. Yeah, I know you coming, Prime, but I'm talking about them Buffalo Bills.
Yeah. I mean,
and I'm gonna lead them out the damn tunnel.
I'm with you, yo. I'm with you. I'll be up in the
No, you got to be down there with me. You got to be all in.
Man, it's too cold up there, man. I ain't with it, bro. You know.
See, two of the same linemen.
No lies in the lounge. That what?
You wore sleeves.
You never see me with sleeves. I knew you was gonna say that. You never
at
see
practice.
Me with sleeves. Nope. I had the armbands that was right here. Just it was a little bit long to cover most of my arm. It's like, but
that's just an extended short sleeve, which is a sleeve.
Nah, man. Listen, man. If anybody, I'm still gonna go for the Chiefs. But if it's anybody's year in the AFC, it's the Bills' year, in my personal opinion. I'm gonna go for the Chiefs.
We just gotta unseed them. We gotta unseed the Chiefs.
No doubt.
I'm dangerous.
I feel they can do it though. You know, no lies and lines. I firmly believe that the way they've incrementally gotten better, like I said, if there's any year to do it, this is the year. So we'll see, man. Either way, you know what I'm saying? I just go, you know what I mean? I gotta double down on my winnings. You double down on your losings. That's just, you know, how we individuals.
Well, let's triple down in it. Toast to tripling down.
And we'll come back a little bit and let y'all know what this bet gonna be this year. Happy New Year, y'all.
Behind the Mask.